Okay. I'm gonna start introducing myself. I'm Gabriel. I'm from Uruguay. I work at Aragon One, and this is why the core team of the Aragon project. And my goal with the talk is trying to give you guys a holistic view of both the DAOs and how the DAOs could be leveraged in the Aragon framework. So yeah, let's do it. First of all, and please, if you think that I'm going too slow in some specifics, or if you think I should speed up, stop me and let's do it, because I would like to cover a few use cases as well. So that would be good for all of us. And I would like to start with what is a DAO. And I get this Wikipedia definition, and it says like it's an organization represented by rules encoded as a computer program that is transparent, controlled by shareholders, and not influenced by central governance. So this is the more abstract definition, and we start in Aragon in that starting point, and that's why I put this here, the Aragon thesis. And we start thinking about DAOs as a tool for organization, companies, and communities to collaborate without borders, more transparent, and bureaucracy-free. What happened is that this was super useful to start building the first building blocks for DAOs, and this is still somehow true. But what we are starting to see with the first use cases and what actually people are using DAOs more is as a social tool that allows everyone to organize in a more novel ways that maybe before was not possible, and also to achieve more complex goals together with more people. Here we can also say that the blockchain is enabling the DAO number to go higher with the in an organization as well, and with the people interacting together. So at the same time, in a personal opinion, I think that we are still not really know what a DAO could eventually become. So it's still a learning process, and we have to figure out together. So what I would like to, this is what I prepare for the presentation. First, I would like to show you how to onboard in the Aragon client to create a specific kind of organization. And afterwards, I would like to show you how we can use that organization to interact with Compound. And we can briefly discuss each component of the organization and as we configure it. Then, as a second point, I would like to show an interesting flow that we recently started experimenting of using a Telegram chatbot and a Uniswap market to onboard new users in the DAO. And finally, I would like to also quickly show you how to set up your development environment using the Aragon DevTools. So before we jump into the actual creation of the organization, I would like to show you this particular organization that I'm gonna showcase. This is the Dandelion organization. This organization was created by an external team, One Hive, and what allow you is what the objective was to replicate the Moloch DAO model, if some of you heard about it. What is interesting about this model is that allow for group of people that are not in sync or not even know between each other to collaborate and achieve goals together, because how the organization is built. So what was the objective for this Dandelion organization was to leverage the Aragon framework, composability of all the components, and also have the nice features that Moloch DAO has of allow this kind of trustless environment for the members. So that being said, we can go ahead and start creating this organization. This is the Aragon client. This is where you will interact with the organizations. And here you also are able to create your first organization if you doesn't have one. Where I'm here is now the onboarding website that allow you to create different templates that were pre-built with a specific configuration for you. This is all optional. You can also create your own templates, but these are some of interesting use cases that come up from the community or from the Aragon One core team and are here for users to create them more easily. So let's go to the Dandelion. Here we'll see all the applications that are part of this organization. And as one thing that I forgot to mention you is that all the Aragon apps are like the building blocks of the organization. Each of them have a specific use case that could be leveraged in the organization, and then could be used also for other kind of organizations because the composability of the Aragon framework. So here we already have this set up, and we also could use this agent app that is a super powerful app that we are gonna cover in later on, but we're gonna choose it. And I think I might be in the other network. Let's see. Wait a second. Not available. That's strange. I think I was not connected. Sorry, I was not seeing that because of the. Okay, now we can choose the again, and here what the first configuration we have to do is choose a ENS name. This is the subdomain that the Aragon organization is going to have. This is the human readable name that we have to choose. Let's choose Chicago Dandelion. And now we are going to start configuring the specific building blocks of the organization. And I'm going to quickly go over this and try to sum up what each of them is going to do in the organization. This is a Dandelion voting. It gives the consensus rule for the organization, and also is the way that every member is going to be able to propose proposals in the organization. Here, what these parameters, the support represent how many people have to vote yes in the proposal for it to be approved. It doesn't have to be everyone that is member of the organization, but only the ones that are voting for this parameter. Here also we have the minimum approval. This is other parameter of the voting app that is the minimum amount of people that needs to get involved in the vote to go ahead and decide the outcome. And then these also are specific parameters of the voting, Dandelion voting, that because how the Dandelion voting works is getting different proposals in batch and allowed for each of them to be executed in parallel, everyone at a time. So here we are gonna decide here. It's important that I choose the correct parameter here, because afterwards when we are gonna use it, we have a duration, we have a buffer that is how much time have to pass between each proposal. And last, we have the delay. This is how much time we need to get the proposal needs to wait for it be executed. This is a way to protect the members and being able to rage quit from the organization when this delay happens. I'm choosing this small number for the sake of the trial, but this is more a general. Probably you will choose more interesting numbers. Oh, here. Okay. Sorry for the long. If I'm too long in this, please stop me. And here I'm gonna choose the well. Okay. Here is the second configuration. This is a token manager. What this allows is for in the particular of the Dandelion voting to select to mint non-transferable token for the members, and here we can choose the name, Chicago Dandelion token, and we can say the symbol, and I can assign here more token holders. Even if you guys want to be part of the organization, you can give me your addresses and I can add you here. I'm gonna add one more just for, and we add it. Okay, I will try to not spend too much time in the settings because I think it's, but yeah, sorry. Here with the time block is the next app that we are gonna configure. This app is interesting because I'll impose a spam prevention for the members. So what this means is that if one member wants to create a new proposal, they have to log some amount of an ERC20 token before submitting it, and every new proposal that they submit have a spam penalty that we have to configure. So in here, we want to choose the token to log, that is going to be DAI, and I'm going to choose 5 DAI as the log amount. And as the log duration, I can choose whatever, let's put 1 hour. And finally, the spam penalty is the important topic. Here I can put 100, for example. And what that means is that for every new proposal that I submit, or every member submit, this log is gonna be increased by 100%. So the second proposal that I submit is gonna be log 10 DAI and for 2 hours. And this is gonna be incrementally with each proposal until the proposal is executed. Finally, we have the redemptions, and this is the way that people are going to be getting out of the organization if some disagreement occurs. So for example, if I'm not agree with a proposal, I can say, okay, I don't want to be more part of this organization. I'm gonna take my shares and redeem the assets of the organization, and that's it. I can burn my token and in exchange get the organization assets that are proportional to my amount of tokens. So here we are gonna choose the ETH and DAI as the first tokens. Here you can choose any ERC20 compatible token. And finally, our Now.js is the token request. And this is the way that people can propose and request be members of this organization. In the way that this organization works is that anyone can submit a new membership for this organization, and they can, in exchange, get submit a tribute or for their new membership. And here we can accept which tokens are, or which ERC20s, or even Ethers are available for that tributes to be submitted. Then a member needs to actually approve the submissions and send it to the queue of proposals to be actually approved or not. Okay, so here we can review how our organization is. We have 3 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, that's okay. We have 2 holders, 5 tokens for 1 hour. We have DAI and ETH and DAI here as well. And we are going to launch the organization now. This is gonna, okay, this is okay. Let's confirm this. And this might take a few minutes, even depending on the network. But what we can do is I can show you how these apps are gonna look in the organization. And here, for example, is how the Dandelion voting is actually looking. Here we see all the votes that are open or been or were already passed, and you can see that we can have a sense of which application is actually interacting and which is making the proposal. And we can see also the address of the members that are doing the interaction. And for example, we can go into more details and see how the vote goes and how much people vote yes and how much people vote no, and have a more context on the application. Then this is how the tokens app looks. It's more like a distribution of all the members and what's their proportion of the total supply. And even we can see here that the token is transferable or not. In the case of the organization that we are using, is not transferable. Okay, this is the log. And let me check if we have the transaction mint. Okay, we have it. We have to approve the second one. And here we need 2 transactions because in the first one, first of all, all the organizations are too big to being able to submit it in one single transaction. So we create the organization first and the token, and then we install all the other apps in 2 transactions. So while the transaction is processed, I can finish showing how the other apps looks. Here, the log is how it looks. It shows how many logs are actually the person sign have. For example, here we can see that this log have an amount of 25 DAI and a spam penalty of 100%, and that's why this person probably submit two proposal and have to wait 2 days and send in the second time 15 dice. Then we have the redemption. This is how it looks. It has all the organization's assets that are redeemable, and you can here add or remove these redeemable tokens. And also in the redeem, if you click in the redeem button, you will see this panel that allow you to burn your token and get away with how a proportion of the asset that you want. In this particular picture that I take is only one token available, and it's not too many relevant. But if you for example take 0.35 of the token, you can get a proportional amount of each of the tokens that are available in the vault of the organization. Finally, the token request is show a list of the other requests that are currently open, and you can see that some of them could be approved, some of them are pending, and here everyone is able to submit a tribute or a deposit of, for example, here it is, and receive a proportion, an amount of the organization asset in exchange if they are approved. Okay, before questions, let me see if we have the organization. Okay, it's still processing. We can, if you want, we can do some questions while we wait.
Sure, yeah. I think we don't have any posted yet in the Discord channel, so if anyone has any, feel free to unmute themselves and ask away.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, we get it. So here we have our freshly new organization. And as we can see here, we have in the left all the apps that are available, and we can start interacting with them. And for example, see all the tokens that we have in the organizations. In this example, I have 10, and I have this other address that I have 1. And now we can go ahead and start using this DAO to interact with Compound as a first use case. What I have to do first is deposit a few DAI, so we can get 5 DAI here and test Compound. Okay. This action has not any restriction, so I can do it right away. Let's do it more quickly, just in case. And one thing that I would like to also talk you about before we go deep into the rabbit hole of using Compound is about permissions. Permissions are something super powerful, and the main functionality of the Aragon framework is how the apps communicate between each other, and how the composability of these building blocks is actually happen. And for example, if we see here in the tokens app, we have all these that are the roles that the token application has. And we can see that these roles are assigned to other apps. And also there is a manager for all the roles. So in this example, as we previously say, the tokens app is non-transferable. And what this allows us is that the only way for getting tokens or earning them is in these 2 apps, the token requests and the redemptions. So this is super interesting way of having on restricting, in this case, the way of how tokens are going to be created. Then every role have a manager, and it's usually a good solution to use the voting app as the manager, because it's the more powerful application, because all the members have to decide on each change, and the manager usually have decide how to arrange these permissions. So that was the permissions, and I think this is a super interesting topic that I will definitely, we can go much more deep, but let's keep going with the example. So we have we have tokens. Let's go ahead and interact with the Compound using the organization. And before that, what I have to do is also tell you a bit about this app, the Aragon agent. And this app, what it does is allow to the organization to behave as an externally owned account, and you can use it to interact with any smart contracts available in the Ethereum ecosystem as the DAO. So every member can decide what's the action that the DAO is going to take, and the DAO can be just using any smart contract as an external owned account. So to interact with Compound, we are going to use this feature of the client, the console, and this is experimental feature. Sorry, I didn't get the word. Experimental feature yet, but it's super powerful to interact with these external contracts, because you can also use Frame, that is a provider built by an external contributors, but yet there is not a provider that embed ancient DAOs in the different Web3 applications. So this is something that we are working, and it's gonna be super interesting to see more apps integrating that. So here we can choose the act command that allows us to interact with the agent. Here we choose the agent proxy address, and then we're gonna need to first approve the DAI contract to expand our balance. So here I have the DAI address, and then we are gonna use the approve function, and we are gonna choose the address of the CDAI of compound smart contract, and then we are gonna choose the amount. Here we have to put the types, but here we're gonna choose, for example, 5, and here we have to put the 18 zeros. But now that we have the command completed, we can actually execute it. And here is gonna happen the interesting part of the dandelions, that as we are trying to create a command to approve we need to approve of the rest of the members, and we need to lock 5 dice for 1 hour to actually execute this, as we can see here. And we can also see that the action that is going to be executed is to execute the approve function in this contract, that is the DAI smart contract. And we are going to create a transaction now. I'm going to be sure to put enough gas so we can don't spend too much time. Okay, I think we forgot to confirm the deposit of the DAI in the other one. So let's approve this one now. And here we are actually interacting with the time lock. And here this is a lot, but what I think is happening also is that the amount of the gas estimation is not correct, because afterwards we always see a much less spending. But I think it's something that needs to be improved in the time lock app. So here we have a few transactions pending, but we can go ahead and see how, for example, the agent app is actually show the information. This is a Sunfame DAO that had a lot of activity using the agent. And as you can see, here you can see all the different ERC20 tokens or NFTs showing in the agent app. And in the bottom is, for example, a multiple account execution of a contract interaction that is exchanging probably in Uniswap 2 tokens. And then here, for example, we can see in a voting how that the description of the execution is looking. And this is using something that the Aragon framework also provides, that is DRASPEC. That is a similar pattern than NatSpec that allow you to describe what your methods of the smart contracts do. And let's see how the transactions goes. This is gonna take some time. I might need to hurry up these ones. Sorry for the inconvenient. Okay, we have some of them approved. Okay. Yeah, this is the one that is taking a lot. Okay, sorry for that. I'm gonna keep going forward so we can. So here is the console commands if you want to try it out later. This is the approve command that I just showed. It interacts with the agent address of the organization, the DAI address. It called the approve method in the DAI contract and use the CDAI to address to allow the amount we want. And then the second command that we need to use is the mint command that is gonna do the mint in the CDAI contract. So we can actually have CDAI in the organization and put our DAI in compound. While the other addresses start mint and we can keep going, I want to show a second example of how to onboard users using this new way of using Telegram chatbots and a DAO to have these new users. So here you have the, we can see in the Telegram, I'm gonna show here, we have the Art DAO bot. And this bot, I'm already part of it. He knows, and I already did the onboarding, but I can show you how this look like in the ArtDAO web. And this, what it allows you is to buy the tokens in the Uniswap market, the tokens of the organizations. This asks you to sign in so you can be recognized. So here, as we see, is a Uniswap interface that we see that this token art is able to be buy it, and at the time we get this token, we can get an invitation of the bot to the Telegram chat, and here I can try to buy some of them, one of it, and see how we. This was the previous one. Okay, we can buy and then go to the organization and see the members. And the way this is set up is that the permissions of the token app is set up that to mint tokens to the new members. So here as you buy one of those tokens, you will get added to the art DAO. I think I clicked twice in that one. And yeah, that was I think it's really interesting to see how this different system could start interacting between each other. And I had some other example of DAOs using this kind of Uniswap market to get different use cases. One that I already talked you about is this Samfane. These guys are creating collectibles, merchandising of and using Uniswap to get them for the people, and then use organizations to actually create the interaction with the. Sorry. And the second example that I wanted to do is this Lex DAO that is also an organization using Uniswap to offer legal expertise to people, and they are using a DAO for interaction of the members of the Lex DAO. So, okay, let's try to give it a shot to the second transaction of the Uniswap. And please, if you have questions or something that I might omit or go to quickly, let me know.
We're starting to have a few questions in the Discord chat. We can do some of them now, or if this is working, we can wait till later.
Okay. Yeah, this is taking more than I. Yeah, we can go. You say Discord, but I'm not sure if I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I can read them to you, or if you'd like, in the chat of this Zoom group, there's a link to our Discord.
Ah, perfect.
And then within the general channel that you'll default to in the Discord, you can join the Meetups channel, which is where we've been posting the questions.
Okay. I was not seeing the chat, but if you would like to read it, that's okay.
Sure. Let's see. Okay, one is from Stefan. The question is, the organizations seem rather static, like a more or less fixed governance system. How could a use case for a startup look like that is likely evolving very quickly? Is it possible to add Aragon from the start, or does it only apply once the business model is pretty much set in stone?
Yeah, that's Stefan is an interesting question. I think that organizations could start with one model of organization, and then could start evolving into using those different building blocks in a different way. And there also work done in something that is called Aragon agreements. That is something that is super promising for the use case that you want to, in a startup kind of situation, because it allows for these rules that you say that are super right now are much more rigid, to be more flexible and be more like a actual agreement that all the members should agree. And then using that agreement, you can start building on top on how you want the organization to actually allow permissions to be configured. So for example, you can say, okay, this agreement everyone that agree needs to put a specific some amount of collateral in the side, so to be allowed to submit proposals and make changes in the organization. And that agreement could be also evolving with how the organization needs are changing with time.
Cool, thanks. One question from me is, how much more does the average compound transaction cost when doing it on behalf of, let's say, a Dandelion type DAO, compared with if EOA were doing the same transaction?
I need to run those numbers. I don't know at this time, but
I guess maybe as best guess, is it like 10% more or twice as much or 10 times as much, or?
in the case of this would be yeah, I can definitely try to figure that out and give back with the answer. But,
Okay, sounds good.
but yeah,
And
that's
then
a definitely good question for me.
And one question from Joe is, what's an example of a DAO that is using this framework effectively?
Yeah. Yeah, for example, I can show you the actual creators of this that are using it, and also one that is been, for example, this is also a somehow new framework, but it's also got a quite excitement in the community of this. For example, are one interesting use case for the Dandelion organization. What they are allowing to submit they are creating like a index fund where all the members are gonna decide how you are gonna handle the funds in the not all the members, but there's gonna be a council of members that decide how the different funds held in this DAO are gonna be distributed, and then all the members are gonna be the ones taking actions eventually when they decide it's the time. But this is, for example, a way that they are onboarding new users into this PyDAO organization using the Dandelion. This could be one example of an actual use case.
Cool, thanks. One last question I have right now. What is the trick or technique that the agent app uses to make it so that a DAO appears to other contracts as an EOA? If it's simple enough to explain.
Yeah, at the smart contract level, I'm not fully sure if I have to say what's the reason that is recognized as an external owner account, other than be a smart account. But
Okay, no problem. If there's someone I can follow up with after the meetup,
yeah,
cool. Thanks.
yeah, sure. Because one of the things that one thing that my guess is, no, I'm not sure if this is 100% the way, but the way that the Aragon organization have these three apps that are like the core systems of the organization. These are also Aragon apps, but have the specific functionalities. The first one here is the kernel. That is like the main is where all the information of the different app is stored, and how what each app and how that every app following a specific kind of situation. For example, being a core application, or being a proxy application, or being a more advanced application like the ACL, that is have a more permission kind of setup. So then you have the ACL, that is the second most important app, that allow you that is a table where all the permissions are set, and it says which app have the permission to do to execute, to which app have a specific role assigned or not, and how that role is managed, all in the ACL. All the permission system is stored in the ACL. And finally, the AVM script registry is where the EVM scripts are stored. And these EVM scripts are the way that encode actions are stored for later execution. So for example, if we have a voting here, the different information that is going to happen if the vote is approved needs to be stored in these AVM scripts to be able to then, if the action is approved, being executed. So if that action is from an agent app to being able to interact with the other contract, what is happening is that the specific information is encoded with the agent address, and also with a call script that allows to the organization to execute that action in the other contract. That's my guess on that.
Cool.
But definitely, one of the Solidity experts of the team can help there on that, and I will come back with the answer.
Perfect. Thanks. I think for now, those are the only questions we have. So maybe.
Okay. We have here I think some of the transactions get executed. We have here the ARDAO get approved. Let's see if we have the token now. And for example here, so we have our token here. So we are on board to this new organization using a Uniswap market, and I think those kind of new ways of interacting with these different protocols is super interesting and powerful. And then our other transaction that was pending was from our and what happened now is that as we only have 3 minutes to approve this, and the transaction we didn't actually approve it, we might need to submit it again. And what I can do here is, if you want, I continue with this and try to get more gas, or we can go and do a bit of the setup of an Aragon development environment. I'm not sure how much time we had now, but what do you think?
Let's see. Right now it's in our local time 7:22. So in theory, if you started about 50 minutes ago, so we're probably starting to run low-ish on time.
Okay.
Maybe let's wrap up in 10 minutes or so, if that seems doable.
Yeah.
No strong preference between those options on my end.
Okay. Yeah, I think I mostly show all the information that I wanted to show here. I'm not sure also if how many devs are in the call, but we can go ahead and do a quick show up of the setup of the environment. And what I gonna show is how to set up this your environment to create these Aragon apps. And the 3 commands that you need to use are npx create Aragon app. This will install and create all the information, download all the things that you need. And then you can do cd my app and npm start, and you will have a super basic app to start playing around. And here I have already that setup kind of almost done, and I'm gonna do only npm start to show you and go through what is happening here. What is done, the structure of this repository that is going to be downloaded is the structure of an Aragon app. And you have an app folder where the React application is, all the information of the React application is stored. You have the artifacts that is generated once you do the npm start, and you have the contracts folder where the smart contract of the application is stored. And then we also have some configuration files that you can learn in a tutorial that I'm going to link in some of the links that I'm sharing. And here we are using the builder tooling, dev tooling that is super interesting and growing. And here there are some configuration of the network and the SOC and the specific Aragon configuration that you don't need to get too much into it at first. And here we will see that before I go into the actual app, I'm gonna tell you what is happening here. We are starting a Ganache instance with all the accounts. These are compiling the contracts using the builder setup. It deploys all the base contracts that the Aragon framework needs. Then it also create the app proxy of your contract, and it build the front end for you, and then it start a local instance of the Aragon client, so you can start testing. So this is what we were seeing, but in a local environment. We can go to the local host and see that we are. And here we can interact with this application and create new interactions and see. And this is all hot reloading in the environment. So you can, for example, change the app or change the script or change the contract, and all this hot reloaded in the time. And the script, this script is something that is interesting, that is the way that we build the state of the application. And in here you need to handle all the events of your app and then create a state for your apps to consume that. And that's mostly it. There is, of course, a lot of documentation about this, but I wanted to showcase a bit of how the setup works. And of course, ask me question or join our chats, and we will help you if you want to try it out. Then I want to, given the circumstances, I would like to shield this DAO that is starting to forming. This is a DAO that is creating local squads to found and help in the situation of the COVID-19. And if you want to join, there is a link also in the links to come up and help with whatever you could. And that's it. This are my contacts if you want to contact personally, and these are some of the links that I think are important or have information that to go deep into some of the topics that we went through. And sorry for the not being able to show the whole compound flow, but yeah, hopefully you enjoy the discussion and you learn some things about the DAOs and Aragon.
It was great.
Thanks.
Thank you.